What's up guys, Lifting here. The Betrayal expansion launch hype is upon us and I hope you're excited to begin the new league. After having had a break myself from the last league, I can't wait to get started. It's going to be sick. In this video, I'm going to feature 5 awesome league starter builds for you to get inspired by. And if that isn't enough, then make sure to tune in again tomorrow because I'll be releasing yet another video featuring another 5 of these types of builds. And that of course gives me the perfect opportunity to remind you to subscribe to get notified in case you are interested. Also, if you need help with setting up your build, or if you eventually get stuck on your character or just want to discuss some Path of Exile, then make sure to visit us on Discord. We have an entire section dedicated to helping people with their Path of Exile questions in case they need it. And a big shout out to my boys over there on Discord. I really appreciate it guys, thank you. Either way, you came here to see builds, so let's get into it. Build number 1 on the list is by SelfStorm, or Celltank as he goes by on Switch, and it is something as interesting as an Incinerate cast while channeling Volatile dead Chieftain. Now that in itself should get you excited. What you see here is a clip of the build in a tier 15 shaped Belfry against EleBuzzsaw, with the map mods of 23% more monster damage and 92% extra damage as cold. And if you know your Path of Exile, then you know that it's a very dangerous encounter. But still, the setup solves that particular and many other such problems in a rather easy way. So yeah, with the Incinerate cast while channeling and Volatile dead setup, you basically hold down your Incinerate, it then procs cast while channeling, which then automatically casts Volatile dead for you. It's a very satisfying gameplay. This build has been designed for solo self-found and has thus no crazy gear requirements for it to function. Check it out. The second build on the list is by Alan Bleeding, and it is a MotoStrike build that is designed to take on any content in the game, including Uber Elder. The build can be played as either the Juggernaut, Gladiator, or the Champion. MotoStrike received a direct buff and an indirect nerf in this patch. The actual damage of MotoStrike went up by a decent amount, but since you can now only equip 1 wildfire jewel, and the fact that the Molten projectile helmet enchants have been nerfed by 1 projectile means that overall you're going to have less projectiles to work with, meaning less damage to in that order. Depending on the type and purpose of the build, this can either be a good or bad thing, but for this particular build it won't matter much and the build remains strong. The build also uses 2 Grellwood Shanks to ramp up the amount of projectiles you fire and to provide point blank for a massive damage boost. It is worth noting that the Grellwood Shanks also received a straight up damage buff in this patch, making them even stronger than before. Coming up third on the list is AngryRoleplayer's Spectre and Skeleton Summoner build. And yes, how wrong it would be if we didn't at least showcase 1 summoner. I know there are lots of you guys out there who enjoyed this particular playstyle, and let's be honest, summoners are just incredibly strong, and if you don't mind occasionally having to resummon your Spectres, then AngryRoleplayer's build might just be for you. In case you're unaware, Spectres are basically your reanimated versions of monsters that you have encountered throughout the game and decided to resurrect. The interesting part about that is that you aren't limited to just using 1 type of Spectre minion. There's a whole bunch of those to choose from. However, your setup of course needs to be adjusted accordingly for each type you desire to use. AngryRoleplayer primarily used Solar Guards for his setup, but has linked to at least 13 other possibilities if you wish to try them out. It is played as the Necromancer for those big buffs to Spectres and Skeletons, or well, minions in general I guess. Summoners, if properly set up, can in most cases deal with any content the game has to offer and can be an incredibly fun type of character to pull off. They are typically a bit more advanced in design, at least in order for everything to come together, but if you like your min-maxing and fiddling around with the D, as in short for details, then check it out. The fourth build on the list is by Goofy Goober, and it is his EleBuzzsaw Raider. And in case you're unfamiliar with the term EleBuzzsaw, then it simply refers to using the skill Spectral Throw and using massive amounts of elemental damage scaling to pump up its damage. And I'm gonna leave you with a quote here from Goober's intro to the build. This is what he says about it. "When I look for top tier in a build, I have many requirements that must be met. I want a build that can clear all content, maps, shaper, lab, etc, Ubers, etc. It must be fun and engaging, not cost an extraordinary amount of currency, and have the ability to be a league starter with the ability to do all content later on, as you upgrade and invest into your character. On top of this, it must have fast movement or move skills and not have to worry about any weird issues that ruin builds for me, such as running out of mana or dying in one hit, not lacking in single target ability, etc. All in all, finding a build that suits me and has all of these things can really be a tall order to fill. Luckily, I have perfected my Spectre Pro EleBuzzsaw build, which fits me perfectly. Hope you all enjoy EleBuzzsaw 2000. Okay, the 2000 part, that was not part of it, but yeah. And there's not really anything else to say to this. I featured this build before and it really does what it promises. Granted, you managed to set it up properly. It's a great build. The fifth and final maybe build on the list is none other than Windz's Glacial Cascade Saboteur Miner. Glacial Cascade Miners has some of the best single target damage in the game, and if you just want to destroy bosses on a complete budget, then this build might be worth it to look into. And due to the huge area of effect of Glacial Cascade, it's actually a pretty awesome mapper too. The build is played as the Saboteur to provide some heavy bonuses and utility to mine builds, both in terms of damage and survivability. Miner builds aren't for everyone though. It's a distinguished playstyle, but who knows, maybe this ends up becoming your new favorite build. And now for the bonus build. The final build I'm going to showcase today is by Vatinas. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it, but I like it and it's what I'm going with. The build itself is a CI LL Tri-Curse Herald of Agony Occultist. So what the hell does that mean? Well, it means that it is a build that makes use of the Chaos Inoculation Keystone, or alternatively going what's referred to as low life in Path of Exile. It also means that it utilizes 3 different curses to weaken enemies, and finally that the build revolves around primarily using the Herald of Agony minion, the Agony Crawler, to deal huge amounts of damage. I believe I've once heard my girlfriend refer to my as the Agony Crawler. Either way, to quote Vatinas, the Agony Crawler is a very interesting minion coming from the gem Herald of Agony. It follows you around and has 3 attacks, 1 melee attack, which it basically never uses, 1 projectile attack similar to Split Arrow, and a barrage of explosive projectiles. It was designed to have decent damage without requiring investment in any minion nodes, so since this build is focused on it and thus takes minion nodes, it yields an amazingly strong and quick little guy. This build is created to be pretty well rounded. It has good clear, great survivability and really strong single target. With the use of SelfStorm, Bated Breath and a proper Watcher's Eye jewel, this build can end up having some serious energy shield recharge potential, especially considering it is played as the Occultist, who has the Wicked Ward Keystone that prevents energy shield from being interrupted by damage if recharge has recently begun. Obviously none of these items are required to get the build going, then it would be a terrible league starter, but they are merely suggestions for later. Also, the Occultist was just buffed in this patch, however I don't think those particular changes are going to influence this build in its current state. Now it needs to be said though that this build will require you to have a decent amount of experience with Path of Exile to probably pull off as a league starter. And thus if you are new, then I would definitely go with one of the others, then perhaps check this one out later. Alright, that's it for today guys. Remember to check out tomorrow's video featuring yet another 5 great starter builds for Betrayal League. Remember to subscribe. Also come visit me on Twitch for the live show. I stream almost every day. If you want to take your support to the next level, consider spending your Twitch Prime sub in my channel or check out my Patreon page. Thank you very much guys. I appreciate you. Happy holidays, and bros, do you even nerd?